I'm in studio. Hey AfterBuzzers, today I'm in studio with Josh Temple. You might know him from DIY's House Crashers. You might know him from a multitude of other home improvement shows. He will be giving us some home improvement tips. We'll be talking tree houses and more. Also, we are dressed the same like twinsies. Don't go away so you can see.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Thank you.
It's like the best reception I've ever had.
The best. The clapping is my favorite.
Yeah, it's really good.
You just always feel so good.
Validated.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Hey AfterBuzzers, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm in studio with Josh Temple. Josh, where can everyone find you on social media?
Instagram, Josh Temple TV. Twitter, Josh Temple TV. And I know this probably is a discussion, but I don't have Facebook. I know. I just never did, and then like everything else, you put it off, and then you put it off, and
you missed the boat.
Boat's gone.
Boat's gone.
Boat's
Maybe
gone.
you can build one though. That is your next show, Boat Crashers.
Oh, Zoe, yes, you have fallen into the trap that everyone else has. Put another thing on it and put crashers on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I am Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RealZoeHewitt. And we might not be crashing the studio today, which I'm kind of disappointed about. You promised a sledgehammer.
Well,
you did not bring it.
I did. I promised a sledgehammer, and then I said, but if I bring it, I gotta use it. And this place, oh, it's so lovely. It's sparkly. I was not expecting such a nice set. And it's, I feel kind of like Alec Baldwin on Saturday Night Live, with the NPR thing where the sweaty balls. This is kind of sweaty balls.
Yeah,
This is kind of what I feel like. So I didn't know this was going to be so nice. So
you just didn't realize just how good it was.
Well,
Studio Crashers next up on DIY.
that train's never late.
That train is not leaving us.
No, but I'm glad I did wear a shirt.
I'm glad you did too. And like I said, twinsies here, coincidentally, both in purple. Now, this is my second time in a row being twinsies, so I feel like I'm developing a thing.
I think you got ESPN or something.
I do, or
yeah.
CNN or something like that.
Right.
So, one of your cool jobs, you've had many cool jobs.
Many cool jobs.
But I have to go back all the way to...
There's no wood.
I always knock on the table. I have to go back, though, to 2003, Ultimate Treehouse.
Yeah.
Because there is something just so magical about tree houses.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that makes them so magical?
It's a fort for adults, is what it is. Tree houses, and this is truth. When I was like, I don't know, third grade or something, one of my favorite things, my favorite book was Swiss Family Robinson, and the idea of building a tree house and then living there. It never left me as a kid all the way to an adult, and I got that job, and I was like, are you kidding? We're going to build, and the idea behind the show was to build tree houses for adults. And there's magic in there. It's living in the trees and all of the, and in nature and up off the ground, and there's something really viscerally satisfying about that. And then you figure about electricity, and then you got to worry about, a bathroom and stuff. So, and then you kind of go away from it. But I loved the show. I was like, when it canceled, it didn't go very long, and so I was really bummed about that. And now it's all hot again.
I was gonna say you were pre-treehouse movement.
I was.
Treehouse Crashers. Next up.
Yes.
The sequel.
Good one, Zoe. You're gonna do this the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I loved the treehouse. Then it went away, and now they're super popular right now. And funny enough, another precursor. I went from treehouse to a show called Dude Room. Yeah, rough title, and it was TLC. I think it was TLC, and that was so for rooms for dudes, and then that we did like 20 episodes, and then along comes Jason Cameron and does Man Caves and crushes it for, I think he did 13 seasons. So I'm too far ahead of the curve.
It means that you're a trendsetter.
Yes.
Trendsetter. Now,
Yes.
before we move on, I actually just have a personal question because I wonder with these treehouse shows, do you need a permit to build a large treehouse?
Huh?
A permit?
What?
No?
Huh?
I always wonder,
No, it's
like,
tricky.
is that a permitted project? Or not?
No, yes and no. It depends on what you do to it. A permit is tricky with everyone, and we always are like, what, permit?
So the show didn't use permits?
Well, we didn't rig anything up that needed a permit in the classic building sense. And permits in our renovation or in building are different when you're talking about structural and you anytime you run electricity and things like that. So no, we didn't pull a permit on that. But these guys are doing much bigger, greater things. And to be honest, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a fire rating to things, and it's a good question for someone that's actually doing a treehouse show. Thank you, Zoe.
But you were, and it was fabulous. So what treehouse stands out the most to you that you worked on?
Well, this conversation's gone too long because we only did the one. It's just a pilot.
Wait, I thought it was more episodes.
No, it was just one.
I thought it was 13 episodes.
They just aired it a lot.
That must be what it is.
So that was my favorite one.
I'm really glad that was your favorite. Clearly, I got really hooked on Treehouse, but after that,
No
you
one
moved
can
on.
resist my treehouse.
That's what it is. You've done like 250 different episodes of home improvement shows.
Yeah.
But House Crashers, the actual crashing.
Yes,
right?
yes. Actual House Crashers, 170.
And this is from since 2009, so this
Yeah.
is a long time that you've been working on it. And it's a really cool concept where you accost people in the store.
Yeah.
And you're like, let me work, right?
Yeah. It's super fun. It's super fun because the idea is that you mess with people, you find out how ready they are to A, be on camera, and B, if they can take a punch. Because when we actually pick the people, they take a lot of punches. And I mean, they work 18-hour days. I mean, this isn't, a lot of them would be like, I would say, I got to warn you, if we do this, you're working 18-hour days. And you're doing all the crappy work. You're doing the staining and the sanding, but you're also going to be with me learning tools and stuff. So when we first find them, I get to mess with them, and that's sort of a nice litmus test to see if I want to spend 3 days with them.
Oh, this is the true, like, you have to get along type of test.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you handle some tough sort of situations? And for the record, we do every crash in 3 days. We don't start the day after we find the people, but once we show up, it is only 3 days.
And that's an amazingly fast turnaround.
Unbelievable. And it takes 2 really good crews. It takes a really good construction crew, and it takes a really good TV crew. The planning is huge. And you know, I've been in construction since '93. I've talk to contractors all the time, and they're like, come on, man, you can't do that. And I said, you actually can. You just have to have your subs there ready to go, and they're burning half a day just waiting to get in. So when you can get all your subs to show up on one day and wait for their turn, you can get a lot done. It's not practical. You're not going to get it at your own house, but it's only one room.
Right.
And we did pull permits.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Is that part of that stage in between when you find them at the store and you actually show up at the house?
Yeah. And that's the other thing is that wherever we went, and we went all over the country. I think it was 32 different states we crashed, and we would get local contractors and local designers the whole time, and not only just to show off the local flair, but also because they had to be there, they had to prep, they had to pull the permits, because we'd get inspectors come on site, but for the final, we'd already be on a plane, and they'd have to get the final all signed off.
And so do you ever feel like there's pressure when you're redoing one of these rooms to make it significantly different from something you've done before? Like, do you ever go back and look and go, okay, well, I already did this a lot, so I better come up with something new?
100%. And that is a great question, because it's the push and pull of the show. Is we're not only are we trying to do something that is personally to these people's liking, because you got to have them on board.
Right.
You don't want to screw with them.
No.
So you want them to be really happy. You want to give them what they want. You want to be creative. You don't want to repeat, and it's got to look good on TV.
Right. That's a lot.
And that's a lot. And looking good on TV is a lot harder than you think. And that we did something before, just then you know you're done. So you just always got to push the envelope.
And what happens? Do people recognize you and then say, oh, yes, come to my house because I want you to do X, Y, Z just like you did before? And then how do you respond?
I say, excuse me, sir, I'm waiting for a flight. This is an airport. Stop bothering me. Or I'm in Target with my daughter, which has happened. My favorite story is my daughter and I were in Target and someone came up and was pretty excited. And they're like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm here with my daughter. And she was like, no, but you're House Crashers. I found you. And my daughter dropped my hand and goes, wait a second. You're Josh Temple from House Crashers? And everyone it was great. But yeah, I get it all the time. And especially when I go into hardware stores.
Yeah. I mean, I bet that and then you have to say, well, I'd be happy to like crash your house, but not that same way.
I say, no, listen, there's no camera crew here. You got to find me when.
No, when you have a camera crew, I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like
so
when you're actually there.
I slowed down a little bit. Sorry about that. So, yes.
Catch up to the crew.
Yeah, sorry. Again?
When you're at the store and you're scouting for your people, do they ever say, oh, great, like they get what's going on, but they ask specifically for something you've done before?
Yes, they do. Actually, it was funny because after about 3 or 4 seasons, then it was not as fun because people recognized me. In the first 3 or 4 seasons, they didn't believe me and I had to convince them. After that, it was like, we had to slow down. Everyone will get a turn, and then they would say, "Yeah, I watched it. I love this show, and can you do this with this? And I want that, and I want that accordion door, or I want those stools that you made, and stuff like that." And we would try to accommodate them on some of the things because, like I said, that was what we always worked to do. But no, we always wanted to try and be creative. One of the goals that sort of came out of House Crashers was my production carpenter, the guy, I call him Noodle because he's smart and he's 6'4" and he weighs $119. Jason Jackson and I always said we were going to write a book about how to build things in backyards, side yards, and driveways because that is the one thing about House Crashers is you don't go to a shop and do it. You build it with pretty rudimentary tools. Like you've got a circ saw and maybe a planer and a router, but you don't have. Are you
speaking English right now?
Well, you come on, Zoe. Don't make me call. Your husband has all of those things and probably a lot more.
But I didn't say those words.
Yes. Right.
So you've got these tools that you have to like fit in, right? Because they might not have a lot of space.
Yep, that's right.
To fit it in there.
That's right. And sometimes we are building like on a side hill, and we're it's. You just got to do what you can do. But I love that because the one great thing about House Crashers was, you get a before and after, and I actually teach these adults how to use tools on camera. But the other thing is, hey, look, you don't need a shop to do some of the things we're doing. These are things that you can do at a relatively cheap cost, and you don't have to go out and buy the newest, hottest tools. Right. So. In fact, the plan is to do some more of that specifically.
That's an interesting point too, because I think a lot of times people think, "Oh, I don't have space for this, so therefore I can't do it." But
right, or they cost money.
Yeah. Well, there's also that balance, right, of money and time. You can find someone else to do it, or you can do it yourself.
Exactly.
I like crafting, so that's like the big joke in a lot of my craft groups. Like you can buy it for $3, or you can make a card for like $350 in 20 hours.
Exactly. And so when do you draw the line?
Oh, me? Never. I'm like 20 hours into a project going like, why didn't I just go buy this?
What is the project you're doing right now?
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Well, I've been really into vinyling soap dispensers. So like every season I design new designs for my soap dispensers in the house.
Okay, so vinyl like you cover them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like right now I've got a little summer hula girl in one bathroom, and I've got a soccer player in another bathroom, like that. So,
do you have those on your social media?
You know what? I don't think I do.
Come on.
And they'll go up after this.
Hula vinyl? Yes. Yes.
What project are you working on right now, Josh?
Oh, you know this.
I do.
And you know this.
They say you always ask a question you know the answer to.
I'm never coming early again. I'm never you busted me on my flip-flops. You busted me. Oh, my. So, here's what I'm working on. So, I've had this chair situation going on. It's a situation. I'm trying to let's see if I can even look for it. But my wife has said, okay, enough's enough. Build me those chairs. You said you were going to build me those chairs. And I said, baby, I'm going to build those chairs for you. I'm right on it. And that was 6 months ago. And I'm trying to figure out if I even have a picture of where they are.
Of the forms of the sad chairs that haven't been touched.
That's a pretty good.
Okay, I like that you showed it to me. Should we also show it to the camera? Wait, I see a side of possibly.
Yeah,
chairs so you hold it up here to the camera.
Okay.
For anyone who is listening to us and not actually watching, it's basically like what the side of a chair arm looks like. That's all there is. There's nothing.
There's a lot of work to that.
I'm sure there is.
I had to do math and router.
I bet you did.
Yes, 6
and
months. One day.
How many chairs are you building? That's supposed to be a dining room's worth? Like 8 chairs?
2.
Oh, thank God.
Just me and my wife for porch drinks, and I just haven't gotten it done.
Well, now that summer's here, it's too hot to work. So
clearly, I'm going to give you her number.
Clearly, this won't be done until January.
It's because she's actually a builder, so she sees right through every excuse I have.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame. But is this a case of? I feel like, what is that expression with the shoemaker that he goes barefoot? Is this a case like that? Right.
The cobbler's kids are always shoeless.
There you go. Thank you. I knew there was an expression in there somewhere.
Like
a real expression.
I might have got that right somewhere.
It's close. So, does your house need things that like chairs?
Yeah. So yes and no. I have done a bunch of honeydews in the last couple of months that needed to get done, like rotted wood or sprinklers or downspouts and things like that. You do those right away because they need it.
Right.
The luxury item of a chair. I mean, and she took me to buy chairs, and I was like, no, baby, I got this. I got this. They're going to be gorgeous.
So she was ready to cave. How many months did it take her?
She's still ready. She's like, yeah, she's got, as soon as I say no, she's got 3 or 4 different ones online that she would buy right now.
But now it's a moment of pride.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. She can buy something else, but I can't. Not the chairs. The chairs
are yours.
I'll get them to you, Larry. I'll get them to you.
Now, there must be different types of wood because I noticed, I think speaking of wooden chairs, what I'm trying to say.
Standalone, a very funny question.
Wood crashers.
There must be. Now, there's definitely different kinds of wood, right?
Where I was going with that was
Yes.
sort of back to the actual show. And you, in like 2012, one of the interesting things that I saw you build, and I think it was a cabin, was a library, and you used it said furniture grade. You said furniture grade wood for like the storage, and I was curious about that. Is that sturdier? Like, why did you make it a point to mention that it's furniture grade wood?
Look at you. That was 2012. Can I go?
Are you coming into my?
Impressive. Or is it right there?
No, I didn't see.
Right there. It's not right there.
This is on a 5-second delay, though. 5 minutes. Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. I think we're 5 minutes off.
Furniture grade. It was furniture grade. Reflects the finish of the ply. It was furniture grade plywood. So plywood comes really rough, smooth, finished, different kinds of veneer of wood. So you can have walnut plywood, or you can have cherry, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But furniture grade meant it's sanded smooth, and it looks a lot cleaner, and it's ready to install. So
okay, so less work for you. Like you could have taken a different grade and still done all the work. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's a good point. I mean, there's a lot of different woods that we use simply because they're easier, quicker to do. And whether the big thing is if you're going to paint it, or versus stain it. And if you stain it, you got to have nice wood.
Right.
If you use some of those, if you use like a pine or a poplar or even Doug fir, sometimes if you stain that stuff, it just doesn't look as good. But they're great for painting, and like a poplar I used a lot for like picture frames and stuff like that, because it was a nice soft wood that you could patch and paint really well. I'm gotten too far deep into this. I've lost you.
No, well, only semi. My kitchen is stained. My kitchen is stained, so I'm with you. I'm like, you need the nice wood to see.
Yes.
But I don't know all of my different types of wood.
Got it. But
there are many.
But doesn't your husband do a lot of woodwork?
what part of that implied me, though?
So you don't care. You don't sit out there with a beer and watch him on a lathe or anything like that.
No. I just say, like, can you please build ...
Hurry.
And then ... appears.
You're lucky.
Like our kitchen.
Yes. Nice.
Tables,
He did your kitchen?
Our whole kitchen, yeah.
I gotta clap that up.
He
I gotta
gets a
clap
big
that
clap.
up. That's Mr. Hewitt?
Just like that.
Hewitt?
Yes, that one.
Yes.
So the reason we're laughing is because before the show started, I always like to confirm how you pronounce people's names, and apparently it's not Josh Temple, for those of you who didn't know. It's Josh Temple.
Temple!
I'm just kidding. It's actually Temple.
Or Temple! We will never know.
Now we will never know.
It's hot in here.
It's really hot in here.
I brought a sweat towel.
I like that. I have to say, you're my first guest who has ever brought a sweat towel. Cranking up the heat here.
Look, on my shows,
yes,
you just sweat. That's it. So it's like we're really doing the work, so we really sweat. So I just do one of these, and then I do a little something to camera or whatever, and it doesn't matter. But in these nice...
No, we're really doing the work. What are you implying?
Well, I know, but and the lights. Oh my gosh, it's so hot.
It's a different environment.
It really is, and you're cool as a cucumber.
I always am. So, what is the most interesting build you've done that you remember specifically that you think, like, I'd either like to incorporate that into my own house or just like, wow, I did an awesome job?
Oh man, there's a couple of really good ones. We did a homemade bar with a timbre door, and you know what a timbre door is? It's when you slide and it's all the little pieces and it goes and around the corner, and then it's on a track. And you slide it open, and you slide it closed, but the
not like a
door
pocket.
turns the corner.
Okay.
A timbre door bar, we did one of those from scratch, which is extremely hard to do and time consuming. I did an island I'm thinking of right now out of like walnut and was it hickory? No, maple. Walnut and maple and copper. And it had a swing out stool for the kids so that it would tuck under or swing out. Yeah. And had drawers and all of that. I did this coffee table that, to be fair, the most of the work was on my guy because he just had to router. But it was this walnut mid-century modern magazine rack table. It had a magazine rack and then a glass top table, and it was just the most beautiful thing we'd ever done. But I can't really claim a whole lot of that one. He did a lot of the work. But I will say this: it's kind of like that with everything I did on House Crashers. If you saw me touch it, I did work. I did it. But if I had to do 4 of them, my buddy would do it, or Noodle would do it, or someone else would grind them out, and it was always a really good team of working with the contractor and the designer. The designers were always really great, and contrary to belief, this contractor listens to designers. So because it comes out so much better.
Well, it's a team effort, right?
It is a team effort. It's 100%.
And as part of your team effort and project, working with the families is important. So are there any families that stand out to you, or people, not necessarily, I guess individuals, who you think either like they were so awesome, or without naming names, like, wow, bad choice?
Yes.
I got a big nod for bad choice.
Both. No, and I actually still talk to some of my homeowners. I just, yes, I loved, you want to work harder for some. And then there's a lot of those actually, but then the other ones, there's been a lot of stories. I mean, a lot of people. I got a call from a contractor out of state that a week after we did the crash showed me a Craigslist with all the things we built for this one woman, and it was all as seen on House Crashers for sale, and that just.
Yeah.
And then you can tell sometimes because, like, you'll bring in something and they'll say, "Hey, if you were to sell that, let's just say on Craigslist, how much you think we get for that, or how much is that worth?" And I mean, there's literally one guy didn't tell us, but he was upside down on his house and was not even the owner anymore. And we did a crash, and we thought we vetted, but we didn't, and he was gone and took all the stuff. I mean, that people do, like when we do their kitchen, I mean, that's a big portion of your home's worth.
Yeah.
When we do that, they'll just they'll just say, you know what, we just got a new kitchen, let's sell this house. It happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those things, but there's not as many as the good feelings. I mean, I get emails from people saying, you know, we still love our kitchen. Check out what we did to our fireplace in our living room. You taught us how to tile or whatever, and we put this in. And hey, do you want to? What would we do for a flooring here? And so, for sure, you got to focus on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, on the positive.
Yeah.
But that is really a bummer too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess everything has a negative. Like someone's going to do something.
Yeah.
But don't they have to also pay? So when they're flipping it, like they don't pay anything.
No, they pay. They pay the
paid
taxes.
something. That's it. Oh,
So they pay
really
the taxes
did get
on
it
the
all.
goods. So they're getting traditionally they're getting about a $50,000 renovation, and I think they're paying like
10,000 in taxes.
6 or 8, yeah, something like that. I wasn't
Down with those people. I don't like them either now.
Well, you know.
Stop selling those things on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to buy the things. I was like, gosh, first of
Like,
all,
I
she's
worked
way
hard.
underbidding this thing. The thing's at least worth $4,000. But yeah, I mean, you get the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And overall, most the people that see it don't know those stories anyway. So
Right.
there's only a few of us that know that.
Right. That have
Well,
the
a few
insight.
more.
Yes.
Now a few more.
More than a few more, I hope.
Yeah. Millions now.
Millions.
As we speak.
But you've worked on so many different and interesting shows, and shows like about the Rose Parade and all sorts of things. So is there anything that stands out in your mind as like, God, that was such a cool experience, or I learned so much about whatever it was?
Yes, and actually all of those things are true. I mean, with all of the so the Rose Parade is awesome, and it's live, and it's so fun, and I've done it the last 4 years, and I'm the man on the street, so I'm getting down there, and we're trying to find out all the secrets and the stuff and the floats, and then you got to interact with people, and it's super loud, and so you're trying to interview Jack Black, which I did, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, these awesome people, and then it's go, all right, cut it back away, cut back up to the booth. Now I'm running, I have about 400 yards where I'm able to broadcast. So I would go with something until if they could come to me. If they didn't come to me, then you just run back and you got to find something interesting about one of the floats. So it was such a huge challenge. It was nonstop and it was live.
Yeah.
And I love it. That I loved, and learning about the floats. I mean, that was something else. I did Dream Home. I've done Dream Home for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Those are just like cool because we get to go to all of these beautiful vacation places like Kiowa Island and Tahoe and St. Simon's Island and all of these places. So and I got to like have fun. Those are almost like vacation jobs.
Oh, don't say that too loud.
Yeah, right. But then I did a show. I think the most spectacular show I did was in 2008 for NBC. I did America's Toughest Jobs, and they took regular people on the toughest jobs in America, which meant the highest mortality rate. So I was on a crab boat in Dutch Harbor, and I was on. We went up past the Arctic Circle in 18-wheelers, and I mean, Dead Horse, Alaska is not a place a lot of people have been.
No.
And then you got to go, and I climbed the St. Vincent Thomas Bridge in Long Beach. I climbed to the very top of it.
Wow.
And did my opening to a helicopter camera.
Wow.
So like
Yeah.
that show was also just mind blowing. And you know, to see rodeo clowns work and be that close to a bull. And
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I've done a lot
Yeah.
of great shows, and I've had great experiences. Another one was Disaster House. We got to think of and create disasters to inflict on a house that would sort of replicate a natural disaster. So we would, you know, drop a piano through a roof, or we have this robotic flame throwing dragon come in to start a fire, or we had a monster truck come and do donuts in our backyard for damage. And that was, I mean, I got to see so many things with that. So,
yeah.
again, very lucky, a lot of great experiences.
And you've got a really great experience, too, that you've sort of just started to get involved with more, and that's Boys Town. Like, you first got involved with them or you first saw them, I guess, about in 2013, right?
Yeah.
And now you're actually their ambassador.
Yeah, well, I say I'm their ambassador. I
They don't
wanna,
say that.
I don't know if I mean, like, they don't. I don't want to make them commit that. What I sort of am an ambassador of is, and it's unofficial.
It is on your Instagram. That makes it semi-official.
Well, it's official to me. I've made it official. Yeah, so Boys Town is this wonderful organization that is celebrating its 100th year this year. And there's 11 campuses all over the country. They're Father Flanagan started this thing in 1917 in Omaha, Nebraska, and it was all the kids, these boys that were basically kicked out of their houses for financial reasons, for whatever. Just through the Depression, it got bigger and bigger. Anyway, it was a home, a safe place for boys. Now it's boys and girls, but these kids are at risk. Some of them have been put there by the courts. Some of them have been put there because they're gangs, or their family, or their parents, or their parents were on drugs or couldn't support them, or some of them are orphans, whatever. There's a bunch of different reasons why these kids go to Boys Town. And they don't just house them. They work with, I think they have about 500 kids on the Omaha campus. It's an actual town. And I think they help about 50,000 a year with, and that could be 500,000. I don't know. I remember it being
a lot,
a product of 10.
Yes.
But they're amazing, and they've done things with behavioral is huge with them, and I know they've invented some hearing aids. Like, the scope is really wide. But when I went there to do a promotional thing, and I didn't know it existed. And so when I went there, I got the tour of the actual town. And they have they have 12 carpenters on call. I mean, not on call, working, 5 days a week just to fix everything. They have plumbers, they have electricians, they had all of these things, and I went and saw all the shops. And then I said, well, what happened to these kids when they turn 18? And they said, well, that's the trick. So they're no longer wards of the state. They're not being subsidized by the federal government or the state government or anything like that. They're on their own. So their choices were college or military. And I said, is that my stomach? Did you hear my stomach growl?
I didn't, but we can pretend. That was a sound effect from the booth.
Thank you. Okay, so I said, well, what about trades? You have all these facilities right here. A lot of these kids, because they had missed a few steps being transported, or they were maybe not up to speed for graduation, or maybe not up to speed to take the SATs or whatever it is, or get into college. So, and then the military stopped taking people. This was 4 years ago, and I think 2 out of 135 that applied got in. Wow. So we said, let's start a trade school.
Right.
And they said, we used to have trade schools in the 50s, and yeah, let's do it. And so we got a construction class, and we got a small engines class, and now we got a welding class. And the welding class, they said, hey, there's a lot of work for welders in Omaha and around the area. Can we do a welding class? And I got on Twitter and I said, hey, who of my peeps has a welding manufacturer hookup? And Lincoln Electric stepped up and donated so much. I mean, it's the best welding class. I mean, there's like 6 bays. There's probably 11 different welders with a virtual one, so you can start on it with a virtual. And these kids are now learning this in high school, so that when they do graduate, when they are on their own, they have some skills. We've had the local Omaha contractors come to a round table, and we said, hey, what do they need to know for this, and they said, know this, then we need to know this. And I was like, great. Now that you've told us that, when we teach us that, you got to hire them. And they were like, yeah, no problem. And so a lot of people, Rigid Power Tools has been incredible. Jet Tools, I've donated some great shop tools. Carhartt, now I'm working with Carhartt as well, because these kids now, once they graduate, we're going to outfit them with a jacket and some pants and some shirts and some boots. So we're working on all of that. And now that that's established, we've started what's called Trade Life. Is this, am I going too long?
No, you're good. Explain.
So, okay.
I would have just asked you leading questions to get all these answers.
I'm way ahead of you, Zoe. So
I'll just head on out because it's too hot in here for me. I didn't bring a sweat towel.
You
So,
can use mine.
okay, I'll step out. No, I'm not touching that. Take your sweat towel.
Oh,
Thank you.
You're
I
gonna get a
appreciate
sock?
it.
I'll get her a sock.
Oh, that sounds even better. Sock, sweat towle. Where are these flip-flops?
Oh God. Okay, I got to get back to this because this is the importantest part. Trade Life is the program that we started. Not the construction classes; those are all for anybody. But Trade Life is now a program that we're helping these kids after high school. These kids that are now on their own. We're helping them with their rent, subsidizing their rent, finding them jobs, then weekly checkups with the kid and their bosses, their foreman, whatever it is. And this is all trades. So if they're going into construction or plumbing or electrical or welding, but also like there's a big nursing program there, all of these things. So this is after they graduate, when they're on their own, when they need everybody the most. When they don't have to check in with these, their families or their teachers at Boys Town or anything. So that's what we're trying to do. And so we're outfitting these kids. We're giving them the best way to succeed, helping them with financials, like financial money management, all of these things. So this is what I'm doing. And we needed money for this program. And so I started a GoFundMe. GoFundMe/TradeLife, and GoFundMe.com/TradeLife. I have said I'd raise $150,000. I said, what do you guys need? I'm going to do my very best to get these guys, because I've been going there for 4 years, talking to these kids, hosting stuff, emceeing their events, but actually eating meals with the kids in their family homes and talking to these kids. And I promised those guys I would do everything I could. Right. And I need $150,000, and so far we've got $6,000. So we need GoFundMe.com/TradeLife. Please, these are kids that are going to learn trades, and then they're not going to be part of the problem. They're going to be part of the solution, and the solution is we need more tradespeople in this country right now.
And it is interesting because years ago, like even just my parents' generation, in schools they were teaching trades. You had to take like shop class, even home ec, and now that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
But there is still clearly a need for trades like plumbers and welders and trade life crashers perhaps. I see a future. So I do know we need to wrap up soon, but it is interesting. So Boys Town is actually doing their 100th anniversary right now. And they have a campaign, hashtag He Ain't Heavy, and that's from a story with a boy who was carrying a little boy who had polio, and he was asked, is he heavy? And he said, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. So they're asking people to post using this hashtag saying, who carried you and what's your story? So as we wrap things up, Josh, who carried you?
I would say if you're gonna go with one person, it's my mom, but it's my family, my all the way through. I have a very tight family. I've got an older sister and a younger brother, and a dad and a mom. But my mom was she just always believed in me and always wanted had faith in me and always taught through love. It was always love with my mom, and man, she taught me how to be a parent. She taught me how to be she taught me how to be a man, which is kind of weird, but it was true. I mean, that she carried me. What are you doing to me right now? I need a sweat towel.
You're going to use your sweat towel. There's some emotion in those eyes. But emotion is good. That's good. It sounds like your mom is no longer with us.
No, she's here.
Oh, she is. Oh, good. The way you were talking, I was like...
No, it's just that reflection, that reflection of... no, she's with us. Hi, Mom.
Oh, good. Hi, Josh's mom.
She's definitely not on this.
Didn't mean to say goodbye to you, Josh's mom. But he was getting very emotional. Josh, you were very emotional. I was like, oh.
Well, it's fine. I'm glad you asked that.
I was like, there was nothing online about this.
Yeah, you don't think about that kind of stuff. You just threw me that curveball, that Emmy-winning curveball. Well done. And you don't. Your life gets so busy, you forget to think about those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are lots of great stories on the Boys Town website with this hashtag, and certainly I'm sure, please tweet us and let us know your stories, everyone. So Josh, where can people find you to send you stories to say how's your construction life going?
Oh yeah, so Twitter and Instagram are really the best places. The website's coming. I know it's only 20 years too late. I know it's coming like the chairs. First the chairs, then the website, and all of those things are coming. But Twitter's the best. Twitter and Instagram, Josh Temple TV, and please go to GoFundMe.com/TradeLife. $10. If all my followers on Twitter gave $10 each, the problem would be done. I'd stop bothering everybody.
I have an idea.
Oh.
I'll just put it out there. What if you sent all of those people who sent $10 like a scrap from the wood shop?
Yeah, I'll send scraps from the wood shop.
No, a chair. I was going to offer a chair, and I was like, no, better not offer a chair.
I was thinking of ways to do something like that, but it's just actually what I got to do is I got to get this out before their 100th anniversary is done. That's the goal. This is their big year, and so I wanted to do something big for them. Help me do something big for them, and I'll think of stuff to send people. after the chairs and the website.
Yes. So 20 years from now, you will possibly get if you donate $10.
20 years?
Well, you said 20 years for the website.
Okay, yeah, you're right. No, it's been 20 years I've been on air, and I haven't had it still on the website. Use 20 years for the website. Use that sweat towel. Josh, thank you so much for joining me. This has been really great. I've had a lot of fun. We've learned a lot. I'm Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @RealZoeHewitt. Thanks so much for joining us, AfterBuzzers. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.